Okay. Welcome to the City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting for Monday, January 3rd, 2022. Clerk Peters, please call the roll.
Present, we have Mayor Keith Hedrick, Deputy Mayor Guinevere Depot, Councilor Lisa McCabe, Councilor Paul Norris, Councilor Christine Piazza, City Clerk Megan Peters, and Councilor Stephen Sheffield and Councilor Rashad Carter on the way.
Okay. All right, we're going to rise, salute the flag, pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I will take a motion to suspend the rules to move Resolution R-22-01-01 to immediately after the salute of the flag.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Councilor Norris.
Resolution 22-01-01. Therefore, may be resolved that the mayor and council approve the appointment of Nicholas Cardell as a probationary police officer, grade D, in the City of Groton Police Department, waive the residency requirement, and that the appointment be effective January 3rd, 2022. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was presented to us during executive session. Are there any comments from the council? Okay, Chief, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Like executive session, I explained that we've been working over for a year now to find a qualified, eager individual to be a law enforcement officer within the City of Groton Police Department. I brought forward to you Nicholas Cardell. Mr. Cardell presently resides in the town of Ledyard. He spent most of his school age in Norwich, where he played football. At Norwich Free Academy. After graduating, Mr. Cardell went to Central Connecticut State University, moved on to University of Wilmington at North Carolina, where he got his degree in criminal justice with a minor in sociology. He came back home when he realized that he wanted to pursue his career. He wanted to be next to his family when he pursued his career. His free time he liked spending with his parents, his family, his girlfriend, and his dog, his German Shepherd. So with that, I bring Mr. Cardell again in front of you for consideration to be a police officer within the City of Groton.
Okay, comments from the council? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Clerk Peters, please administer the oath.
Good, thank you. You can have a seat, or have a seat, stand right over here. When you're complete, I'm going to have you sign this, okay? So I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Do you, Nicholas Cardell, solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Connecticut? You will discharge the duties of police officer with the City of Groton in accordance with the law and the rules and regulations of the city and said department. You will faithfully serve our citizens and visitors with honor and integrity. You will promote and maintain the public trust and adhere to the department's code of ethics. You assume these obligations freely, voluntarily, and without reservation. Thank you.
Okay, the pinning.
Yes, sir. Mr. Cardell's mother, Lisa Jeanette, will be pinning Mr. Cardell with the support of his father, Steve Cardell. say anything?
Officer Cardell, you have the podium.
First of all, I would like to thank the entire council just for giving me this opportunity to protect and serve the city of Groton. I would also like to thank the chief and the captain for giving me this opportunity as well. And most importantly to me is my family. I would like to thank all of them for just being supportive of me through this entire journey. It has been a long one. So I love all of you, and I hope to make everyone proud here.
Okay. We will recess for 5 minutes so that we can get pictures and so that the family members can go and have cake. So we are in recess. Okay, welcome back. We are resuming the mayor and council meeting for Monday, January 3rd, 2022. We will continue with the agenda, recognitions, awards, and memorial. Anybody from the council? Okay, now we move to receipt of citizen petitions. Comments. Receipt of citizens petitions is the portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from citizens. To address the council, please sign a sheet on the table in front of the meeting room. When you are recognized, please approach the podium. Clearly state your name and address. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit emailed or written comments. Presentations should be related to matters pertinent to the city of Groton. City councilors will only ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation and can respond during the response to citizens petitions portion of the meeting. All right, so let's do this. All right. City clerk, do we have anyone sign up for citizens petition?
Yes, we do.
Okay, call out the first person.
David Costello.
Okay, Mr. Costello, please take the podium. Is the mic on?
Yes, please speak into the mic directly.
Okay.
You do have to be straight up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a directional mic, so if you're back or off, it doesn't capture everything, and we need it for the record.
Sure.
So please state your name and address.
All right, good evening, members of the council, Mr. Mayor. For the record, my name is David Costello. I reside at 70 Benham Road. I've resided in that address for approximately 35 years now. I've seen a lot in the city of Groton. I've seen good, I've seen bad. Our neighborhood is a proud neighborhood of working class people. We built our houses. My grandfather actually built my house. It's a generational house, and there's been 5 generations in my house that have lived there. What's really striking me, it's bothering me, I should say, to quite some extent, is the proposal that is before us with the Five Corners redevelopment. We understand redevelopment needs to be done, and believe me, nobody would like to see that Five Corners area get redeveloped more than the residents that live there, the neighbors that live there. We've put up with garbage. We've put up with decay. We put up with less than stellar people there that have really taxed our emergency services, police, fire, ambulance, and things like that, overdose, drug use, a lot of things. So we really want to see something go down there. We are not opposed to development. What we are opposed to is overdevelopment. And I believe the proposal that's on the board right now is something that's on such a grandiose scale that it just does not fit in correctly to our neighborhood. You're talking 6 stories. I know it's a 5-story building, but we're talking about a rooftop deck that's going to be occupied with at least half a wall to keep the partying people up there from falling off. So that's going to be 6 stories to me. That's going to be towering over us. It's not something that fits in with the neighborhood. There is one 3-story building there in my neighborhood, and that's slated to be raised, to be coming down. Every other house in that neighborhood is 2 stories or less. We'd like to keep it that way. We are a small town, believe it or not, with big business in it. Speaking of business, with the new proposal, we've also added in, with the new MUD and the TIF proposal that's in there, that we're going to have some shops located inside of this building. Just recently, well, I did it about a month ago, and I just did it again Sunday. I drove around the city and the town itself, and I counted the empty storefronts that we have here in the city. I don't know if you guys realize just how many empty storefronts we have here in the city. I counted 27, with some of them being right next door to where this proposal is. I counted another 24, 25 just in the downtown area in the shopping centers down there. So for us to think that we should be adding more retail space, kind of a pipe dream to me, because we can't fill what we have. Why are we trying to do something for a person, a developer that's across the United States in Arizona? Let him build in his neighborhood. Let him build in Arizona. That's where he lives. Let him do it. However, here, maybe we should be focusing on the residents here in Groton. Maybe the people that own these places. Maybe we could help them with grants or low-interest loans that we could afford for them to maybe remodel
to revitalize that area. Economic impact on that could be great, I think. I really do. But we should be taking care of our own first before we're really laying all our eggs in one nest with some developer that's going to come in here, be a snake oil salesman, and then go out of town with a bag full of money, not worrying about us. We also talked about wanting to make this into a pedestrian-friendly place.
You have 1 minute.
Thank you. I urge any of you to come with me when I walk to work or when I walk home from work and see just how pedestrian-friendly we are. I cannot even get across the street. I stand there, I wait, people are looking at their phones when they drive by me. They look like this at me with blinders on and don't let me cross. Even though the traffic is stopping 3 cars away, people still will not let me cross. The sidewalks that we have on there are not pedestrian friendly. Telephone poles, basically in the middle of the sidewalk with hedges growing up to it where we actually have to walk out onto Benham Road to bypass that area. So to say that this is going to be a pedestrian friendly area, I don't think so. Not with a building that's going to come right to the edge of the sidewalk, which brings another safety concern with the people exiting that building through the garage. They're not going to be able to see the pedestrians coming out, and somebody's walking a baby carriage or a dog probably could have some dire effects. Is that my alarm?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Your
Okay,
time is
I
up.
thank you for listening to me, and I urge you maybe to do the right thing and not approve the project that's coming. I know that's for the zoning board, but I believe it's a Groton issue, and we should all be involved. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
Mike Boucher.
Howdy, Mike Boucher, 16 Hillside Avenue, Groton. The north end of the city has suffered from urban decay for decades, and over the years, the day paper has been littered with articles from politicians promising the revitalization of our blighted areas. The city is now so desperate it has moved forward a program of gentrification, displacement, and urban renewal reminiscent of the 60s. Our TIF and MUD programs provide ample givebacks, spot zoning opportunities, and along with possible incentives from Groton utilities, worthless properties that turn into instant cash cows for developers, but hurt neighborhoods nearby. This situation will attract due diligent real estate groups who specialize in distressed neighborhoods, short sales, and REOs. Clearly, the five-corner proposal goes against the City of Groton 2019 Plan of Development and Conservation. In there it states, to establish opportunities for new development at an appropriate scale and intensity, and to provide for appropriate transitions to adjacent uses and neighborhoods. So what is GBU Capital? We learn about them first in the day paper, August 2019. Foreclosures, evictions, all happening in the Five Corners area by GBU. In September of 2019, Mayor Hendricks announces the development of TIF, and TIF goes into effect in 2019. The summer of 2020, Attorney Hiller, representing GBU Capital, meets with Planning and Zoning. And by early 2021, we have our first proposal from GBU, and now another proposal, almost exactly the same, only with a different look, going from industrial modern to a New England style facade. So we know some of what GBU is up to, and hopefully my FOI will answer more questions. But what is GBU? We know from the proposal, GBU Capital is located at 16247 North, 112th Way in Scottsdale, Arizona. We know from the state of Connecticut, GBU Capital was formed March of 2018 with Christopher West as manager and as a North American Industrial Classification Code of 531190, which means they are just the leasers of other real estate property. If you Google that address, you get a Zillow posting with a Z estimate of a $2 million home in a neighborhood of similar homes. And if you look and see who lives at that location, you find Christopher West. Surprisingly, a letter from Christopher West to the Scottsdale Board of Adjustment dated September 22nd, 2020 also pops up. The letter reads, Hello, John and Jeff. I live at 16247 North, 112 or 112th Way, Scottsdale, Arizona, and wanted to comment on a letter I received in the mail. I recently received a letter from Philip W. Rosenthal of Rosenthal Engineering, and he is currently applying to the Board of Adjustment for a variance to the maximum height of our building requirement in our zoning regulations of 100 Hills Community. I am writing to oppose this zoning request for a variance. We do not need to set a new precedent of a 30-foot height. The reason this development is so desirable is because the lots are perfectly designed and positioned to allow every lot a great view of the mountains and valley, depending upon the lot. In this particular spot, the obstruction of the views of the surrounding home, in this particular spot, it will obstruct the views of the surrounding homes, hence devaluating them. Thirdly, such a variance will not be compatible with other homes in our neighborhood. I also see the letter mentions moving the house back an additional 20 feet from 113th Way, which will not be consistent with other neighboring homes on the street.
You have 1 minute.
So please submit this email as a neighboring no for the variance. Another letter of opposition was also signed off as GBU Capital, Christopher West, of the same address. Are there any employees, any experience with this type of project? Is City Hall just giving away a golden ticket to someone who may just sell or lease the Five Corners properties? Does the mayor or council know anything about the abilities or the intentions of GBU Capital? Thanks for your time, and I hope you guys do your own due diligence, because your neighbors are at risk.
Thank you. Next.
Next, we have Frank Jeanette.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Frank Jeanette. I live at 142 Benham Road. I just want to say a couple things regarding Five Corners. I think development there is a great idea, but the type of development they want to put there is not. Because what happens is, with all the empty storefronts that we now have, we're going to force other businesses out of business. Because when we go to shut down the roads to tear these buildings down, what's going to happen to the places that's been there forever? And those people work so hard to build their business. The people from Scottsdale, Arizona do not care about us here in Groton, Connecticut, including the small businesses. You know, Groton City is a wonderful place to live, but development of that nature, I'm certain is going to hurt my property value. It's going to add to situations that we already have, such as low water pressure. At my house, I have low water pressure. So what would happen if you add 80 more units to that water pressure? You know, who's going to handle the infrastructure of building everything up so everyone has the same usage, you know? And I just think that this particular plan is not a good one, because we are coming up short. And I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And lastly, I have Steve Nye.
Steve Nye, do you wish to speak?
You have a hard time here.
Steve, do you wish to speak?
Hi, I'm Steve Nye, 129 Peconic Road. I just want to, I live, my property abuts the property that is part of the proposed project at the Five Corners, and I just wanted to reiterate my opposition to the project firmly, and for all the reasons that it's already stated by David and Mike, and I just wanted to reaffirm my opposition. I think it is a very cruel thing to happen to a neighbor like that, and I just please don't do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that's signed up?
There are no others.
Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak? Okay. On your way out, if you could update this and then just state your name and your address, please.
Yep. My name is Tristan Taylor, and I live at 64 Benham Road. I as well would just like to reaffirm what they all said. I actually probably have the closest property, I think, to this project, and it would definitely be all in my sight line from my house. I think it's a great idea to put something at Five Corners because it needs it, but this is just, it's a massive project that I just don't think belongs in that size there. There's a lot of reasons. I'm not in favor of it at all. So I do hope that you guys do consider what we've all said. I don't really know what you guys have to do with it, but I did want to say my point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Taylor, is it Tristan or Kristen? It's Tristan. It's me. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, hearing none. Response to citizens' petitions, comments, council? Deputy Mayor Depot?
Well, first I want to thank everyone for coming out. I always tell people, please come, tell us what you think. Come to more meetings. It's been hard during COVID, but it's always better for us to have more input. A couple of things. I know, and some of you know this, that this is an issue that's before planning and zoning, and we actually don't have a lot of input or control over what planning and zoning does. It's highly regulated. They have certain rules they have to go by. I know there was concern about the plan of conservation and development. I know that part of their voting is decided on whether or not something does coincide with the plan of conservation and development. So they do, every commission member takes that into consideration. I don't think that, you know, some unrelated issues in another state, I don't know how much that has to do with the city of Groton. It's a different issue. It's something that we have nothing to do with or really know about the different factors. But I do think concerns over what happens to the local businesses when there is anything done in that area, to me is a big concern. I know that we are going to redo Pequannock Road at some point this year, I believe is on track. And I have been following up with the mayor on how that impacts those businesses. There's a whole little group of businesses on Pequannock Road. And I think we need to do everything in our power to make sure that there is a pathway to their business, there is parking for their businesses when the road's not, you know, fully functioning. All of those things to me are really important. And I think the same, anytime we have development, I think that's important for us to focus on. And as a council member, that I do have influence on. So that is something that, to me, is something I will personally follow up on whenever development goes on that corner, because whatever happens there probably will be a disruption to traffic and businesses. And I also want to say, I know that we do have a lot of storefronts in the city. Unfortunately, we don't get to control what building owners do with their properties. And I know the last several years, you know, COVID kind of threw a wrench in things, but we do have businesses that are expanding and coming to the city. It's not as fast as we would like, but I think the mayor does a good job trying to keep those avenues of communication with business owners open. And our economic development team, Sierra Patrick, they really work with building owners to try to connect them with developers whenever possible or whenever we have inquiries. And they're really trying to get out there the open real estate to promote those. So it's not that those aren't being focused on. I think it's just kind of under the radar because it's not at a meeting, we're not announcing it all the time. But economic development is working on that, and if that's something that people are interested in, please feel free to attend an economic development committee meeting. That's where those things are talked about, and if you have ideas on how to improve businesses coming to the city, please, I mean, you can come to these meetings and give comments, but economic development, those meetings is really where that could be impacted. So if people are interested in that, that is, that's the group of people that really should be given those comments or ideas or suggestions or connect people with economic development. I think that's all I had to say. But yeah, like I said, I am focused on following up with the things that we do have power to kind of push, which is to make sure that the city is using our Public Works Department, Police Department, Planning and Zoning to make sure that the current businesses aren't negatively impacted by any development. So that's where my focus lies. But again, I want to say I appreciate everyone coming out, and always, if you have comments or suggestions, attend a meeting, or you can just send us an email too. We take those seriously, and it's important for people to give feedback. So thank you very much.
Any other counselors? Counselor Carter, you have the floor.
Thank you guys for coming out. I just want to add, I wasn't going to say anything, but I want to add to what Deputy Mayor was stating as far as the empty storefronts. I mean, I live on Thames Street, and I've asked myself for the last 11 or 12 years since I've been down there, you know, why are some of those empty? And it goes more than just beyond open space. You know, what we see as open space, we don't know that a lot of those spaces aren't turnkey, and they're not ready to occupy a business, you know, and that means a lot when somebody wants to search a space for business, you know. New developers, you know, they're doing the work for them, you know, so they'll pay a few extra $100 a month to rent that space. It's done for them. Another thing is parking, you know. There's a couple different things involved in that, just an open space. I get what you're saying. I see it, you know. I go out my door and I see it, you know. So I get what you're saying. It is frustrating, and it's good to hear people on one side, but I do know on the other end there's people that have the, you know, are ready for it and want the thumbs up, you know. It may be a generational thing. I'm not sure, you know. I think that, you know, whenever something like this is kind of just whoa, and then you look at the structure and the size and whatnot, you're like, man, we haven't had this, you know. So it's an emotional thing. I don't live over there. I think if you know, if somebody was plopping something next to my property, I mean, I may think a little differently, you know. But it's a good perspective that you guys are bringing forward, one that I didn't have in mind, you know, because I wouldn't, because I don't live over there, you know. But again, there's two sides. But at any rate, I'm glad for you guys to come forward.
Anyone else from the council? Councilor Piazza?
I just want to say first and foremost, thank you to our citizens, especially those who are obviously are passionately and deeply affected by this. I will say that I've first moved to Groton City on Denison back in 1967. My mom started working at EB, and I used to deliver newspapers in that area from way up all the way past Washington Park. So I tell my kids a lot of the history there, but there was many employees at EB, and when they walked out, we still survived. Those houses were still there. I really do feel the heartfelt sentiment of your house being there, and certainly I live up by Fort Griswold, and if something of this size was to take place, I think there'd be a lot of opposition. I really hear that, and I'm hoping that I do better due diligence and looking into this more. I really do take your points seriously, and hopefully there'll be some kind of compromise in some way. I don't know how it'll be. One of the other things I think of is that we do have a committee that's in beautification of Groton. For me, I've thought about this frequently, and I think about how we're coming off the bridge, we want to beautify that, but then we're going to come into Five Corners, and it's going to be this large complex. I don't know what the beautification of that is to Groton. I think we have more technology here, growing and growing and growing, which is good for development. It's good for our next generation. It's good for work. It's good for the military. I'm a military vet. It's good for a lot of things. You know, but I've read about it. I've heard other citizens speak about it. And it's more the citizens I feel that we're here for, and to really deeply think about the effect of them. And I myself will look more into it before I take a vote.
Any other comments? Councilor McCabe?
I just want to say, echoing what everyone else has said and thanking you for coming in. It is important for us to hear your point of view. I also, not just wanting to be concerned about the businesses in the city, but also our neighborhoods. We're a small city, and every neighborhood has value. Every neighborhood is important, and the people in it. So I'm very interested in hearing what the planning and zoning is going to come to the table to let us know what their thoughts are, what their plans are for this. And it's really hard to make any sort of value decisions or judgments right now, but having your input is very important, so I thank you for coming in.
Anyone else from the council? Okay. Thank you for your comments. Mr. Costello, you mentioned grants and loans. We have a facade grant program and small business loans. I will reach out to Sierra Patrick, who's our economic development coordinator, and get her to specifically contact those stores that are right there on Pequannock to see if there are any improvements that they would like to make. I know we have these programs out there. We try to get them advertised, and we try to get that information out to the businesses, but sometimes they don't get the information for whatever reason. But I will have her specifically reach out to those businesses on Pequannock to see if they want to partake and or qualified to participate in our facade grant program and our small business loan program. So I will do that tomorrow. And thank you for coming out. This is the opportunity that you have to speak. You guys have spoken, I think, at the Planning and Zoning Commission when they had public comments. My understanding is public comment period is over. And then they will be talking about this again in their January meeting. The attorney has, we've talked to him about making sure that he reviews the public law that's out there now that was referenced during the last meeting, and then we'll brief the commission on that and give them his legal opinion on this project. So that will be coming for the next meeting. Okay, so thank you all for coming out. Okay, approval of minutes. Need a motion to approve the mayor and council meeting minutes for December 6, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Need a motion for the December 20th, 2021 special committee of the whole meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Communications and reports, Councilor Norris.
Nothing to report, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Councilor McCabe?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I attended our last farmer's market right before Christmas. It's saw Deputy Mayor Depot there with her dog. It was nice to meet up. And we have another one coming on January 15th. I saw the sign as I was coming in.
Yep, that's
So
true.
it's a good opportunity to meet with your fellow citizens and enjoy picking up some baked goods and other cool things.
Okay,
So enjoy it.
thank you. Councilor Sheffield?
Just for December 13th, Group 2 had their committee meeting for finance on my end, nothing to report from there.
Okay,
That'll be all.
anything else? Okay, thank you. Councilor Piazza?
Thank you, Mayor. One of the things I want to say, I wasn't here last week for our last meeting, and that I did go to the Pfizer's lights, and I was amazed by that. So I really, I spoke to a lot of the children on the bus, and I was surprised that a lot of them, being from Groton City, did not attend it. And, you can't get in a whole discussion why they don't, or whatever reason, but I think we really like to plan for next year to really have more kids be able to see that. That would be a great thing for them to see, so that would be definitely a great plan.
Okay.
And in our committee meeting for chairing for community development, there, I'll be discussing with you later just some of the things that were brought up by one of the citizens that came in.
Okay,
That's it, thank you.
thank you. Councilor Carter?
Nothing.
Deputy Mayor Depot? I mean, I miss you this time.
Thank you. The only thing, I'm not sure if you have the date for the food box distribution for January,
I
but
do.
I always like to bring that up. So I'm sure you'll mention that in yours. And I just wanted to mention about the vaccines. I think we have a vaccine, do we have a vaccine clinic coming up?
Yes, I'm going to give specific, vaccine clinic.
Just had one this,
We just had one Friday, Thursday. I don't have that in my briefing, so I'm not sure when the next vaccine clinic is. I know about testing and distribution and all that. I have all that here, but
But Ledgelight is still
Ledgelight is
doing
still
them.
doing it, and they are active with us.
So I just want to encourage people, so over the Christmas break, I went to a couple of close family gatherings, and I went to a gathering where almost everyone got COVID except for the people who had recently gotten booster shots. So I just want to encourage people that if you have not been vaccinated, or if you're eligible for a booster and you haven't gotten it, please get it because it is keeping people safe. I know of specific instances where a whole group got COVID except for the people who got booster shots. So I just wanted to really encourage people to, if they can do that, if they're eligible, please go get vaccinated. And I know the mayor's going to talk about the test kits that we got. But the local pharmacies and stuff they're getting shipments in, but it's always nice to have a few on hand. So if you can get a couple just to keep your family safe so you know whether or not you are carrying the virus so that you don't infect people, it's a good idea to, I'm going to try to go out this week myself and get a couple so that I have them on hand. But it's spreading really fast. So more people in the last couple weeks that I know personally have gotten COVID than the whole time of COVID. So the whole last 2 years. So I just want to encourage people to stay safe and please get vaccinated if you can.
Okay. Councilor Piazza?
I just wanted to bounce off of that, what Deputy Mayor Depot had said. I think my concern is, and being a nurse for many, many years, make sure, been in pediatrics, home care, everything, and that's one of the things we look at as vaccines. We educate it. We educate about it. We talk about it. We almost walk them through it, the whole thing. We even have given them. One of the things, though, through this, as a mother who has had a child that had a reaction to a vaccine that was safe at the time and has been on the board for many years, I'm not saying I'm against it, but I am saying what has happened and saying stories like that creates, and I even see it in our own workplace, people don't want to speak out, people don't want to say, people don't want to ask questions because they feel like it's a discriminatory kind of way. And I do want to be careful with that when people say that. So I'm very careful on why people don't get vaccinated. It's really their own right to decide whether or not, and also those who do get vaccinated. I understand the thing. Now, I know some people, I'm not going to say specifically, who have gotten COVID twice and are vaccinated, have received the booster. So it's not just the unvaccinated. I would like to keep that picture very clear. It's not just the unvaccinated people who get COVID, and it's not just the vaccinated people. I mean, statistically, we really need to look at where it's at. We really need to look deep, just as much as these citizens come in and ask for our due diligence. So we need to, before we speak about anything, to really have due diligence in what we say, try as best as possible to represent both sides of the table. Thank you.
Clerk Peters, do you have anything to report?
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right. So let me talk about a couple of things. First of all, starting tomorrow morning, we will initiate a mask mandate in all municipally owned buildings. We've had some cases of COVID here, but with the rise that we're seeing with the population, I want to be as safe as we can. And part of this, so to address part of your comments, Councilor Piazza, is so masking is part of it, social distancing is part of it, washing your hands is part of it, vaccinations is part of it. each individual has to decide for themselves whether or not they want to get vaccines. I don't have an issue with that. I do think people should be vaccinated. But if they choose not to get vaccinated based on the research that they've done or things like that, then I respect that. The challenge is that you are potentially impacting yourself, but you're also potentially impacting others. So a lot of this, when I went to the mask mandate here, I was resistant because people said, okay, you got to wear the mask. The employees that are getting sick here are not getting sick from workplace transmission. They're getting sick from what's going on out and about. So it is behavior modification, meaning if you're going to be in a crowd, you need to be aware of what's going on. And you need to be aware of social distancing, and you need to be aware of masking, and are you going somewhere where you don't know people? When the city of Groton, the town of Groton, and the city of New London decided to release the mask mandate that we had across the board, we had a meeting with Steve Mansfield, who was director of Legislite. And Steve was very clear that the rates would go up after Thanksgiving and after school started. They would also go up after the holidays, meaning Christmas and New Year's, because you're going to have family gatherings of people that, although they are related, they're not in the same cohort. And so therefore, the protection that you have from your own cohort, you may not have that protection from somebody else. So those are the kind of things that we need to understand, and that's partially what we're seeing now. But as a result of a lot of information, that's why we're going to mask mandate in all municipal-owned buildings. Tomorrow, Legislite Health District will be conducting drive-through COVID testing at Washington Park, and they're doing it on Tuesdays from 2 till 6. No appointment is needed, and testing is available to everyone. SEMA4 will process and collect your health insurance information if you have coverage, but if you don't have coverage, there's no charge. So do not let the fact that you may not have insurance stop you from getting tested. Due to the increased demand for COVID testing, traffic will be routed through Washington Park, and officers and signs will direct traffic to the testing site. 2 weeks ago, they tested 695 people. Last week, it was supposed to start testing at 2 o'clock. At 10 to 12, we had 30 people already here. By 1:30, I had to put out a public announcement that if you're not here, don't come here because they're out of tests. They only had 250 tests. We do have testing set up for tomorrow. I do not know how many tests they have. Once I find that information out, that'll be posted. The potential problem with that is that causes a panic and everybody comes at like 2 o'clock in the morning and camps out, that kind of thing. So that's always the challenge. But tomorrow we're going to have COVID testing. As a result of the COVID testing that we're doing tomorrow, we are not passing out or handing out our test kits. We received test kits, and so the City of Groton will be distributing a limited number of antigen COVID-19 self-testing kits and N95 masks on Wednesday, January 5th, at 5 o'clock at the City of Groton Municipal Building to City of Groton residents only. Now, people will be staging over in the parking lot over here at Washington Park, and then they'll be guided through here to get their test kit. So you'll get one test kit per vehicle and family. Proof of residency will be required. So if you're not from the City of Groton, you will not receive a test kit because other municipalities are also doing this. The town of Groton is doing theirs tomorrow at Fitch High School. All vehicles will enter through Washington Park at Park Avenue entrance to ensure the health and safety of city staff. We respectfully request that all attendees wear a mask when receiving their kit and exercise patience during this process. Please direct any questions to the mayor's office at mayor@cityofgroton-ct.gov or 860-446-4103. The city will be closed on Monday, January 17th for Martin Luther King Day. Garbage and recycling normally picked up on Monday will be picked up on Tuesday. So if you normally have your garbage picked up on Monday, Martin Luther King Day is a holiday, your garbage and Recycle will be picked up on Tuesday. On the 18th is when we have our meeting. At 6:30, there's going to be a special cow, and we're going to be talking about Robert's Rules. We're going to have Robert's Rules training for council and for boards and commissions, so that people can be up on proper parliamentary procedure. If you noticed out front, there's a box for collection of personal care hygiene items. Fitch High School senior Noel Bowles is hosting a personal care drive to benefit New London Hospitality Center. Please consider donating new hygiene products. A drop box is located in the municipal building lobby. And then to address Deputy Mayor Depot's comment, the City of Groton will be teaming up with the United Way of Southeastern Connecticut and St. John's Christian Church for a food box distribution on Friday, January 28th at St. John's Christian Church from 12:30 to 2:30. So if you cannot make it there, you can ask one of your neighbors to pick up a box for you, or you can contact the mayor's office at 860-446-4103, and we will deliver a box of food to you. And I know that Frank Jeanette, who was here earlier tonight, and Deputy Mayor Depot have both delivered boxes to people in need in the city of Groton. So, and that's all I have. Are there any committee referrals? Councilor Piazza.
I just wanted to ask on these kits, maybe somebody else is asking, I know they can contact the office. But so I'm assuming that they're rapid, and are these ones with QR codes? It's just for at home to see if you are or not in an emergency situation? Do you know what type of tests they actually are? Because some that you actually would send out, and then some actually have a QR code that you could send, and then some are just like a rapid.
My understanding, these are all rapid tests.
Rapid, and then it's just for basic emergency purposes, not something you can show somewhere to show that you're negative.
Right.
Correct, okay.
So if you're symptomatic, that's the purpose is, I feel bad, here are my symptoms, am I COVID positive? If you are tested, if you are positive, we recommend going to get a PCR or something like that. Okay? Are there any committee referrals? Okay, hearing none, we'll continue on with new business. Where are we? Councilor McCabe. R-22-01-02, sorry.
Yep.
My apologies.
Resolution R-22-01-02. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the appointment of Conrad Heed, 58 Mirror Drive, Groton, Connecticut, as an alternate member of Planning and Zoning Commission, term to expire on June 30th, 2024. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-22-01-03. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the appointment of Robert Boris, 47 Beach Pond Road, Groton, Connecticut, as an alternate member, Planning and Zoning Commission, term to expire on June 30th, 2023. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Councilor Sheffield.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-22-01-04. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the reappointment of Gail Kelly, 167 Mira Drive, Groton, as a regular member, Beach and Parks Committee, term to expire December 31st, 2024. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Councilor Piazza.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution -22-01-05. Therefore, let it be resolved that the mayor and council approve the appointment of Devin Robarge, 921 Eastern Point Road, Groton, Connecticut, as a regular member, Beach and Parks Committee, term to expire on December 31st, 2024. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Councilor Carter.
R-22-01-06. Therefore, be resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to place an order for and issue a purchase order to Nutmeg International Trucks Incorporated, 130 Brainerd Road, Hartford, Connecticut, for an amount not to exceed the quoted price of $136,400 and no cents for the purchase of one 2014 International HV 507 4x2 dump truck with Cummins, or Cummins?
Yep.
Cummins, yeah, diesel, to be paid from funds in the Water Division Vehicle Placement Fund. I so move.
Could you go back and read that number again? Because I think you said 136.
Yeah.
It should be 137.
Okay. $137,400 and no cents.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, so we have a motion.
Second.
Oh, you did make a motion, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay, we have a motion, okay, good. We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention, motion carries. And Counselor Norris.
Mayor, R-22-01-07, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to provisionally approve change order number 22 from H.R. White Construction Company Incorporated, 41 Central Street, Auburn, Massachusetts, which includes charges and credits as part of the State of Connecticut Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Project number 2013-0140, pending final approval by the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health for the credit amount of $186,639.78, and Mayor Keith Hedrick to authorize to execute the change order number 22 upon final approval by the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Piazza.
I just wanted to say it was stated H.R. White, and it's R.H. White.
Okay, you're right.
Thank
R.H.
you.
White. Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you, council, for coming out tonight.
Thank you.